Hello, finance. Last video of the day for my day. My last video of the day for Chapter 9. We're picking up in video 2.4, starting on page 198, and we're going to be talking about disability insurance and identity theft protection. All right. So both good things once you've entered your adult life. Actually, identity theft protection probably as soon as you turn 18 you want to get this, because people are getting really good at stealing your information. Or is it that you guys are just really bad about not putting it out on the internet? I don't know. We'll figure it out. Okay, 2.4.
Disability insurance. Disability insurance is designed to replace income that is lost due to a short-term or a permanent disability. If you're in here right now, you have a 1 in 3 chance of becoming disabled for 6 months or more at some time in your life. That's a pretty strong chance.
Aflac. Okay. You guys may or may not have seen those commercials with the duck. Maybe that company doesn't exist anymore. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But you know that duck that's always going, Aflac, and everyone is sitting there talking, what happens if I get hurt and I can't work? Disability insurance. That's what this is. It's not talking about, like if you're paralyzed or permanently disabled. It's anything that could prevent you from working. That's what this insures. It insures your income. So, let's say you get in a car accident and your back is messed up and you can't work for 3 months. The doctor says stay at home, stay in bed for 3 months. Disability insurance. That's where this kicks in. This is what this does.
You're in here and you're 30, you're way more likely to become disabled by 65 than to die, statistically. And yet this is probably the most underinsured area of the major points of insurance in a good financial plan. You've got to get disability insurance. Try buying disability insurance that pays if you cannot perform the job that you were trained or educated to do. That is called occupational or ONOC disability. Now, in the last few years, ONOC disability rates have gone way up, and one way you can limit that, and the best way to buy it, is to get ONOC for 2 years. After that, not ONOC. Now, what that would mean is, I speak for a living, I do radio for a living. If I lost my voice, I would not be able to, now I might be completely able-bodied except for my voice, I would be unable to do my job, right? Now, if I had a 2-year ONOC plan, I couldn't do my own occupation, and for 2 years they would pay me. After that, they'd be going, get a job. Unless I was completely disabled, and if I was completely disabled, then I couldn't do any job, then it would still cover from then on, much less my job. And voice disability would not qualify in that case. So if I was in a bad car wreck in a wheelchair or something like that, that kind of a thing, then it would pay me all the way out. But if I just couldn't do something that my job, that's for 2 years. And that's many times the way this is set up. Beware of short-term policies covering less than 5 years. Here's the situation. Longer than 5 years is called long-term disability. Shorter than 5 years is called short-term disability. Do not buy short-term disability. The short-term disability is covered by your emergency fund and getting out of debt and having a plan. It's the long-term disability that'll kill you. If you got this 15-year thing where you can't earn an income, that's huge for your family. You can make it a couple of years and figure out with your emergency fund how to get through things if you have a good 3 to 6 months of expenses. We know we can make it 6 months anyway. And so long-term disability is the only thing that I own, and it's the only thing I recommend. But you've got to get it. I'll never forget, I was doing a book signing not long ago, and this young man, 28 years old, came up to me in the book line, and he said, I know I don't look like it, but he said, I have a condition, and he named this thing as long as a car, and he said, I'm completely unable to work. I am completely disabled. And because I was listening to you, because I went through your class, I had long-term disability. He said, I have 3 kids. I'm 28 years old. I used to make $100,000 a year, and now I don't make a dime. And this insurance policy is paying me $65,000 a year. And Dave, the stuff you taught me, because I went and did it, it saved my kids. It saved my family. We didn't lose our home. We haven't lost anything. And he said, you wouldn't believe what we've been through. And he told me the whole story about the medical, and it was bizarre. But it really made me stop and think. If a young guy 28 years old. If that's the case, man, you got to get this stuff. Now, let me tell you, long-term disability, just out in the open market, just going shopping, can be very expensive. And it is based on not as much your health or your age like some insurance is. It's based more on what you do, the type of work you do. If you're doing something where you're doing something with your hands in a blue-collar setting, it's going to be more expensive than if you're flying a desk. Okay? And so you got to think through this stuff. If you're in an office working environment, in other words, it's going to be less than if you're out here handling power equipment because you're more likely to be disabled. I mean, if you're a high-rise window washer, just forget it. They don't want you. Okay? But it's life insurance there anyway. That disability won't even apply. So, that's the kind of thing they look at, is the occupational classification. And out in the open market, you're going to find this to be very, very expensive. But in some cases, it makes sense. The best way to get disability insurance is if they furnish it at your work, obviously, and you don't have to pay for it. That's wonderful. But if they give you the opportunity to buy it in group through work, it's usually the cheapest there is. It's a great buy. Buy it. If they offer it at work, buy it. It's almost always the best deal. If they don't offer it at work in any way, you can't get it, try something through a trade association. If you're a home builder, talk to the Home Builders Association. If you're a realtor, talk to the realtors and see, sometimes trade groups will come together and offer group disability that way. And again, it'll be cheaper than just going to your insurance agent. But anytime you're shopping insurance, you go to an independent insurance agent, let them shop among many, many, many different plans and different companies to get you the best possible deal. Your coverage with disability should be around 65% of your current income. Around 65% of your current income. The reason is that if you buy this with after-tax dollars, do not buy this with pre-tax dollars. Buy it with after-tax dollars. It's the only thing I'll ever tell you that about. Everything else you buy with pre-tax dollars. But if you buy it with pre-tax dollars, when you become disabled, your disability income's taxable. If you buy it with after-tax dollars, disability income's tax-free. So you want it to be tax-free. Buy it with after-tax dollars. And if that's the case, you can live on 65% of your old gross. If you used to gross $100,000 and you bring home $65,000, that's about what you were getting home with after taxes and Social Security anyway. It's a little less, but I mean, you were getting killed anyway by Washington. So you're operating just about on your take-home pay. You won't find it very often above 70%, and lots of places you'll find it to be 50% of your income. But a good rule of thumb is try to stay, don't panic, but try to stay in that 65% realm. Right now, it's so inexpensive that at this particular moment, I'm able to furnish it for my entire team. Everyone that works on our team, we buy it as a benefit. And it covers at 70% for 2 years of own OC in that situation. But our higher income earners, it doesn't cover them. It doesn't cover anywhere near 70% of my income. It's limited, I think, to 100 or 150,000, and after that, it shuts down. 70% of that. And so if you got somebody making 300 or something like that, then it's not going to take you all the way up to that. The big thing here is just make sure you got food money and money to keep the lights on for an extended period of time. That's what this is for. Now, the elimination period in disability is the same as your deductible. It's the time between the disabling event. I'm disabled here. 30 days later, payments begin. I had a 30-day elimination period. The longer your elimination period, the more risk you take, the lower your premiums are. And so a 30-day elimination period is like a $250 deductible on your car. A 90-day is about like a $500 deductible on your car. A 180-day elimination would be like carrying a $1,000 deductible on your car. So you're taking 180 days, you're going to go 6 months of being disabled on your own, then it's going to start. Well, if you carry an emergency fund of 6 months, then you would be perfectly okay on that. So again, I'm willing to take some of those first dollar risks to keep my premiums down. I want them to catch the catastrophes. Are you seeing that theme all the way through the health insurance, through the disability insurance, through the auto and the homeowners? They catch the big stuff. I'll take the little stuff with my emergency fund and with my financial clean living, okay? And then you keep your premiums down and you get to use them for what they're for. Insurance rates are a battle you're going to fight the rest of your life. And the only thing you can do is continually be shopping, continually be looking. I recommend you check with a good independent agent. That's an agent that well, shops a bunch of different companies to find the best deal for you, whether it's car insurance or renter's insurance or whatever it is. Someone who's shopping a whole bunch of different companies. Identity theft protection. 15 million people this year have had their identity stolen. It's the fastest growing white-collar crime in North America today. And when you
Haha, now my microphone's on. Okay. The disability insurance, that's something that you should be looking at around middle age, or more or less once you're probably out of college and establishing your family. That's when you want to start getting disability insurance. Once you're into your career, not something you need to look at as soon as you turn 18. Okay. As soon as you do turn 18, something you should probably start looking at is identity theft protection. Because as soon as you're 18, people can steal your identity, open credit accounts in your name and your social security number, and wreck your credit and rack up a bunch of debt in your name that could ruin you financially for a long time until you get it fixed. So pay attention to this one. This one you should be getting probably as soon as possible.
Stolen, you will spend an average of 600 hours trying to get that mess cleaned up. You don't owe any money, and I told you in that lesson how not to pay any money and how to fight it through. But you're going to spend an average of 600 hours cleaning up your mess. So I recommend this type of protection, identity theft protection. Don't buy ID theft protection that only provides credit report monitoring. Crud, you can do that on your own. You're allowed to pull your own credit bureau once a year free anyway. So you don't need to have somebody else pay somebody else for that opportunity. Don't do that stuff. And a lot of that stuff's coming in your credit card statements. A lot of the credit bureau companies are offering it now, that kind of thing. I do recommend you buy it, and I own identity theft protection on me. That includes restoration services that assign a counselor to go clean up the mess. See, the problem is not that you're going to owe money. The problem is you've got a new hobby. You're going to have to deal with the fraud victim division with a bunch of credit card companies, and you're going to have to go through all this mess to clean up stuff that you don't owe through no fault of your own. And so I like the idea of having someone take my case, go do this for me. They go fight with the bank. They go fight with the credit card company and clean up the mess for me. That's the way you want to do identity theft protection. Victims of identity theft spend an average of 600 hours recovering from this crime. It is devastating financially and emotionally. Identity theft can happen anywhere: phone, internet, mall, doctor's office, even at your home mailbox. So it's more important than ever to protect your personal information. Never carry your Social Security card with you. It belongs in a safe place at home. Never throw out documents with your personal information, including your address. Use a paper shredder, and never give your Social Security number until you're officially offered a job. That's simple. Be especially careful on the internet for scams like phishing, and that's phishing with a PH. This is where you get an email from a supposedly legitimate company asking you to verify your credit card or personal information. This happened to a friend of my daughter's not long ago at college. The local bank had of course, their logo and stuff, right? Everybody recognized the logo. So all the students there at the college ended up getting an email from what looked like that local bank, where a lot of them had an account. And the email said, there's a problem with your account. We need to verify what's going on. Quickly email us back and click this link. And they clicked the link. It took them to a website. It looked like the bank's website. And you fill in your account information. Hundreds of students on this college campus did this. And of course, it was a con. It was a phishing con. And they took, the con artist took the account numbers, cleaned out the students' accounts. My daughter said the next morning at the bank, there was a line of students around the block trying to get their accounts closed because they've been cleaned out. This is a common phishing process. So it can include verifying your account number. Dear valued customer, if you don't respond within 48 hours, your account will be closed. It happens if you have an eBay account. You'll see some phishing scams with that. Sometimes it looks like it's the IRS. Click the link below to gain access to your account. See, don't follow that stuff. Legitimate companies, internet or otherwise, will not ask you for your account information or your password unless you call them first. They already have your account information. Anytime you enter a debit card number or personal information on a website that you initiate the transaction with, make sure that the HTTP in the address bar changes to HTTPS for security, and that the little padlock appears on your browser. If you're surfing at an internet cafe, you're fair game, so don't log onto your bank account or make purchases while you're there. And those phone calls you get asking you to verify your debit card number because you want a prize, oh, please, get real, guys. If something looks too good to be true, it probably is.
Okay, so I'm going to add on to what he said. There are a lot of internet threats as far as phishing. So they don't have to actually trick you to fish for your information anymore. There's a lot of stuff called spyware now. What I recommend is if you have a computer, you need to look for, there's a lot of free versions of spyware blocker, or you can pay for some, if you're not sure. But most antivirus software comes with spyware blocker. Spyware pretty much steals information from your computer and goes searching through your computer and your internet sites looking for passwords and stuff that'll get into bank accounts. It looks for important information like that. The thing he was talking about at like coffee shops, using public Wi-Fi can be dangerous. Because what happens a lot of time is, there's different people. They'll go to a coffee shop, they'll set up their computer. It looks like they're working, but what they're actually doing is they're hacking the coffee shop's Wi-Fi and stealing information from every single phone and computer that's connected to it. Ways that you can fix that and kind of prevent it. This is kind of a weird topic nowadays, but in the last couple years, VPNs have become very popular. They're virtual private networks. It used to be something that you could only set up if you understood how to create one. Now it's something that different companies are offering as a service. So getting identity theft protection along with a VPN service that could help protect your information as you browse or use the internet is one way that could help you out. But if you don't want to pay the extra for a VPN service every month, because some of them can cost as much as $15 to $20 a month, which can definitely eat a hole in your wallet and cause you some budgeting issues. Good habits are another thing. If you're at a coffee shop and you want to connect to the Wi-Fi, here's another thing: make sure it's actually the coffee shop's Wi-Fi. Or you could be that annoying person that goes up to the counter and says, "Hey, what's the Wi-Fi name? I can't find it." And the reason why you do that is because if you ask the employees what the actual Wi-Fi name is, you don't get tricked. What happens is sometimes people will go to these places, they'll set up, if they're at Starbucks, they'll say Starbucks Wi-Fi 5G or fast, right? And they'll just put a word in there that makes you think, oh, this is the fast connection, I want to hop on it, when you're actually using the Wi-Fi from someone's personal cell phone or their personal laptop, and they're using themselves as a router to steal all the information that you're sending back and forth. And they can get bank information. They can also use that to access your computer remotely. They can set up what's called a clone drive, or a clone version of your desktop, where they can start controlling your computer, or they can start working in the background files of your computer while you're using it without you even noticing. So if you're in a public place and it's the first time you've been there, just be that obnoxious person that goes up and says, "Hey, I can't find the Wi-Fi name. What is it? Or which one is it?" And ask the employees, so that way you're on the store's Wi-Fi and not some loser in the corner who's trying to steal your information. So good habits can also protect you. Just watch out for suspicious emails and phone calls. Suspicious emails aren't really as big of a thing anymore. People don't really, most email websites have gotten really good about blocking that type of stuff, but you still get the silly phone calls. It's just like what we said with the lottery lesson. If there's a magic number, or there's a magic phrase or a magic word that will get people concerned. A big one last year there was the spam phone call going around to almost everyone's cell phone, and they were calling people up right around tax season saying, "Hello, there's an issue with your social security number and you owe the IRS money," or "There's an issue with your tax return. If you don't call us within 24 hours, we will report you to local authorities and put out a warrant for your arrest." Or no, my personal favorite, I got a phone call of someone telling me that my social security number had expired. Fun fact: social security numbers do not expire. That's not how they work. But there's all kinds of ways that people can scare you. Or it's like with the fake Wi-Fi. If you went to Starbucks, set up a fake Wi-Fi router on your computer, and you just renamed your Wi-Fi to Starbucks Faster or Starbucks Employees Only Fast, as soon as people showed up to start, so many people would be hopping on your Wi-Fi because they'd see that. They think, ooh, I'm getting on the employees network. I'm going to have faster internet access. When in actuality, you're just stealing their stuff. The reason why lying works is because, if you put in the magic word, you're going to trick somebody. All right, so be cautious. Don't give in to key phrases like that, and protect your identity. All right, that's all we have for this video. And maybe I'll finish this chapter tomorrow. I mean, hopefully it'll go about as fast as this chapter, as fast as today went. And we'll be all done with chapter 9. Let me see how many videos are left. Let's see here. We got two videos left. Okay, I'm finishing this tomorrow. Well, that's all there is for this video.